Clank, clank first. Clank, clank.
Welcome to the Like Mother, Not Like Daughter podcast, where we share conversations of womanhood that bridge the gap from one generation to the next.
Our hope is that this podcast sparks honest conversation within families that will strengthen the family bond.
Let's be honest about it. There's a way around it. I like the way you do it, baby. Let's be honest about it. There's a way around it. I like the way you.
I am one of your hosts, Jenn Rodriguez.
And I am Carolyn Little.
Yes. Now, welcome back to another episode.
Yes.
This one is titled, and this is probably one of my favorites, Marvin Gaye on a Saturday.
Ooh.
The weekend resets. Yes. So no reason, honestly, for using Marvin Gaye in particular other than it rhymed with Saturday. So this episode is all about the art of planning a reset day. It's all about self-care and tapping into your femininity. Not necessarily just on a Saturday, because, retail, some of us got them retail jobs and life happens, but just overall having a reset and a self-care day. But I remember as a child seeing Saturday as chore day.
Yeah.
The day to reset the house, get knee and elbow deep in dust, and rock that bandana, put the black lines under my eyes, you know what I'm saying? Because we're going to war on the battlefield of house cleaning.
Yeah.
But, I feel like that's starting to change a little bit nowadays.
Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day on Saturday, Soul Train came on, so you know about Soul
Ooh,
Train. Yes.
I
And
miss
we
Soul
could
Train.
not watch Soul Train until we were done with our chores.
Oh, okay.
And so it's from anything from furniture polishing with that good old pledge, cleaning the bathrooms with some good old Comet cleanser,
Yeah.
and then taking it back to mopping and doing the woodworks with good old pine saw.
Pine saw.
Yes,
I will
pine
say
saw.
that our generation probably has the best pine saw commercial. That one
Yeah.
woman is still rocking it out
Yes, she
with
is.
pine saw. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely something to be said about having a clean home.
Yeah.
And yes, we need to designate time for that. We also just want to make sure that we're taking care of our temple, which is our
Right.
bodies. And I feel like we tend to have such a good routine when it comes to cleaning our house and maybe taking care of other
Yeah.
people. And we have a good routine that maybe was passed down. Like my mom taught me a great cleaning routine that I actually used for a little bit of a cleaning business back in the day. Remember I used to clean houses back in the day?
Yes, ma'am.
So your routine definitely helped me with that. But how good of a routine do we have for making time for ourselves and planning self-care? So today we'll have some real talk about
Yes.
prioritizing the reset of our inner being.
Yes, our inner being.
Don't forget that Like Mother, Not Like Daughter is available on all podcast platforms. So make sure you hit that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. And if you're watching on YouTube, you guys get to see us clink, clink, drink the thing. So if you're listening, you might hear some clink, clink, clanking.
Yes.
That's okay. But if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell so that you don't miss an episode. All right, let's get into it.
Some of the different areas of self-care would be physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, and professional care, which can be related to cleaning up on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like when you go get your nails done, they have to take that polish off or the polish is worn off. But then once you sit and you get your nails done and you soak your hands into all that sudsy water and they massage you and they put on that nail polish, it gives you such a fresh look.
Ooh.
And we love to get our nails done. And then sometimes, you can even, think about, I think about when I'm cleaning, especially with Comet cleanser. There could be stains in your tub that you're trying to get out. And it's just like we have stains in our lives. Stains from old relationships, things that maybe we were traumatized from, back in the past. And so it's just like cleaning out those stains, getting those rough spots, and cleaning them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And cleaning things out. So sometimes, we just need to clean out our minds and our emotions, just like, we would do with that common cleanser. And sometimes you have to put some of that little extra elbow grease to it, to get those things out so that we can become a better a better person.
Right. And I'm glad you pointed that out because I know for me, like in my generation, self-care is such a huge thing and healing is such a huge thing. Healing from the past, healing from, bad relationships, healing from toxicity, all of that stuff. While not sometimes realizing that we are standing in our own way by not doing the actual work of healing. And this is something we'll talk about later on in the podcast. If you keep listening for next season, healing and doing the inner work and even self-care, it takes work. It's not just sitting alone and, isolating yourself. There is a time to set yourself aside. Yeah. But as far as isolating yourself, there are some things that just can't heal until you do the work. Exactly. And until those things come up again. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. And that's a really good point because giving yourself a reset or a self-care day doesn't always necessarily mean that you're doing nothing. Yeah. And you're vegging out on junk food and watching Bridgerton all day. As much as I love me some Bridgerton. Yes, and love me some Scandal. Yes. Shonda Rhimes, girl.
Yes, Scandal.
Scandal was the one for me. Scandal was my vegging out show. Go ahead, comment below your vegging out show. When you do need to veg out and you got your couch full of snacks or your bed full of snacks and all that stuff, you got to let me know. Y'all comment. Yeah. Let us know what show you usually veg out on. What show do you usually veg out on?
Oh my gosh, I have... this season in my life have brought quite a few. But I think the one that I'm really stuck on is Selling Millions in LA.
Ooh.
Yes.
So going back like reality TV, just like binging from that first season?
Binging from the very first season. Because I had to figure out how did these people come to be on the season that they are now? And what has happened in their past, and are they still the same people?
Right.
So, binging that. And then I had to also binge, this was one of my favorites, Big Brother.
Ooh.
I couldn't take Big Brother all the way back to the beginning because that was like, that was like a little bit too much. So I had to speed that one up a little bit. So if I have to binge, I think those are the two. And then, of course, I have a couple of Netflix shows like Family Reunion. And then I got into...
You got a couple of vegging out shows. Girl, you got a couple shows.
I had to go back and watch Married to Medicine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then Love is Blind.
Love is y'all. This new season, season 3, that has been the most cringe, like nail-biting, one of the most nail-biting seasons. I mean, I think the ones with Chris and Paige was really big. But I digress. We're getting off. And clearly there are some times in seasons where it's okay to rest and veg out and just watch some of your favorite shows, uplift your spirits, have a few laughs. There's nothing wrong with that. But a true reset, also takes a bit of work and a bit of grit.
Yeah.
To your point, to remove old stains or begin the process of truly healing and resetting before a new week begins or doing some reading may be necessary. Just types of things like that. So joining an in-person or virtual support group is something that might be necessary. You can learn from each other, pass ideas across each other that might also be really necessary. Getting your nails done, having a girls' night, getting massages. Those are all a part of resets, and they're all wonderful things to do to help relax.
Yeah.
And they need to happen, but I just want to make sure that we don't count out the working reset that is still refreshing and refueling you to become who you're meant to be.
Yeah, but nothing wrong with a little binging when you got to binge.
I know.
In the season of binging. So let's dive into some hot topics and see where we can bridge the gap.
Yes.
Because it is important that we walk away understanding each other regarding these topics. And also it gives us a confident outlook on building our own ideas. Jennifer, I have always admired the way you take care of yourself. I love the way you get your massages, your nails done, and even your spiritual regimen that you have. I really, really do admire the way you've always done that. So your routines are just awesome. But do you have any favorite chores as a child? And if so, how would you relate that to self-care?
Ooh, we playing full circle moments up in here. I would say if I had to choose a chore that was my favorite when I was a child, it was dusting. Which is weird to say.
wax off.
I know, right? Wax on, wax off. But it was before the waxing, you got to dust.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it was kind of like my least favorite because it got me the dirtiest. But it was my favorite because it was the most necessary. So like before I could wipe an area clean and make it all shiny, I had to remove the dirt and remove the residue first. Before I could vacuum and make pretty lines in the carpet, I had to work my way from top to bottom, get the dust off of the top sections of the house first, let the dust settle, and then go in and make those pretty lines with the vacuum. And sometimes when I miss that step, it would be so frustrating.
Yeah.
If I like vacuumed and I realized I didn't dust, I'm like, yo, man, I done all this. I did all this work.
Yeah.
And I have to go back and dust. Like I forgot that step. So it's the most necessary thing I feel in order to save time.
Yeah.
And to really, it's not the prettiest chore, but it really was the most necessary. In terms of self-care and how I can relate that to something, I think sometimes in similar ways you have to let the dust settle in your life or remove residue before making yourself pretty inside. There's a process. Everyone's process is very different, but it's necessary in order for true self-care to happen.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when I went through my divorce, it's been almost 2 years now.
Wow.
And, I haven't really gotten back into dating, for real dating.
Is there for play dating?
There is for play dating. It's called talking.
Okay.
And there's this talking phase,
Okay.
But, I haven't really gotten full swing into, again, that's another topic for another day. Because you're looking at me like, what you mean for real dating? There's a for play day, they do that. We have so much to discuss on that one.
That's why we're learning.
But, I did have to let the dust settle before jumping into something else. And it wasn't because I was afraid or I was like, I never want to do this again because of what I've gone through. It wasn't out of fear. It was just really letting the dust settle and really focusing on what was kind of important first, which was me healing and kind of coming to grasp that my life was going to be very, very different.
Yeah.
And also for us, it was important that our daughter got adjusted because we had separated before and come back together.
Right.
Now we were really splitting up. And she just kept wondering, okay, when do we get back together? And I'm like, I hate that that happened because, it confuses her.
Yeah.
And so for us, it was really just about her getting acclimated to the system and being used to us being apart and letting her know that it's okay, that families look very different.
Yeah.
So that was a part of the dust that had to kind of settle. And now, I'm in a more comfortable space where it's like, okay, him and I are getting along great. We have a great co-parenting relationship. Yes. Our daughter's thriving. She's in first grade and she goes to a school that she loves. She's making new friends. And so now it's like, okay, I could explore, having that relationship with someone and introducing someone in my life. Maybe not to her right away, but at least for me saying, okay, I can see myself with someone else.
Yeah, taking it from play dating to real dating. How
about that?
How
about you? How do you declutter your mind? Because I feel like a part of letting the dust settle is decluttering. And the one thing I'm really focused on is decluttering my mind.
Yes. Man, I declutter my mind really by writing things down.
Okay.
I have always been like a person that is organized, or that was just something that was just instilled in me when I was growing up. But it's always about just writing things down, whether my list grows from within that week or within that month or within that year. The thing is just writing it down. First of all, I don't have to go by memory.
Right.
It's written down. And then the second thing is it just relieves stress. It relieves a lot of stress for me when I write things down. And I try to leave room for the what ifs. And so when everything is not like 1, 2, 3, 4, but my list is where I can, when I write it down, there's room of something to say like what ifs. Now, I don't write down every single thing, but I do write down things that are important to me to help me get through either the day or the month or the week or the year. So I've always just wrote things down. It works for me. That's how I declutter my mind.
That makes sense.
Yes.
I feel like I need to do that more. I utilize a planner pretty well, but it's usually on my phone. But there's something about writing it down on paper and having an in-person planner, in-person calendar where you really feel like you're brain dumping and taking all these ideas and putting them where they belong so you can organize them later.
Yes.
So I really feel like that's something I need to adopt. And I'll add one more thing too when it comes to decluttering your mind. For me, I think it's also like taking social media breaks.
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my Lord.
My little itty bitty following on Instagram.
I'm telling
Might
you.
not understand why sometimes I just disappear.
Yeah.
But I need a social media break. It's
Oh my
a
gosh.
lot.
It's too much.
Yeah, and for
really too
for a
much.
content creator, it can be risky and it can be hard to step away from the community, and even if it's just stepping away from going on and commenting on everybody's stuff, but it's necessary because I have to make time for intentional connection to build my community.
Yeah.
And I think it's also easy to get bogged down by everyone else's activities and everyone else's opinions,
Right.
what they have going on, what they're doing and what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Like people just brain dump on Facebook when you should probably brain dump in a journal. That's just me.
Just brain dump to a friend.
Or brain dump to a friend or talk to the Lord, just something. But I think, when you're on social media a lot and you spend that time kind of perusing and going through, and you end up just taking in
Too
everyone's
much. Yes,
information,
too
the
much.
news and what's happening. I remember on the 1st of November, like 3 people died. It was all over Shade Room, all over. It was like, boom, death, boom, death, boom, death. I went on Facebook. I'm like, okay, let me just go see. Boom, my cat died. Boom, my dog died. Boom, my bunny died. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's a lot to go on and just kind of see everything that's going on in everybody's life. And I think for me, taking social media breaks and focusing on the real world and the people that I can touch and see and my friends.
That's important.
Having intentional connection outside of social media makes me feel like, okay, this is my real world.
Yes.
This is where I exist.
Yes.
And this has to be taken care of instead of just my community on social media.
Social media it's a whole different beast in itself. That's like a whole different topic.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this, Jennifer. What is your self-care routine?
What is my self-care routine? I think one of the ways that I have a self-care routine or even plan one is knowing when my admin days are. Admin days are like office days. Just knowing when to plan those activities rather than like when a content day is.
Yeah.
So for example, my self-care routine, like usually my admin days are like Mondays and Tuesdays. So those are days, and it depends on when I have an interview. I just keep my schedule open for that, most of the time. But when it comes to planning my self-care, I know that Monday, Tuesdays are kind of like my office days. But they're also sometimes, depending on the time, that those are days where it's high energy with my daughter. A lot of her activities are on certain days.
Yeah.
So I avoid like self-care days on days where it's like high energy for her. I'd rather plan a slither of like self-care on days when I know that I'm going to be more so doing office rather than shooting content. Unless I know my content is light. And I'm still kind of working out the kinks. Yeah. But I think what's worked well for me is just knowing when my office days are and planning them on an office day. All my massages, my nails, that type of thing. I kind of get up, check my email, and then I, get into some sending invoices and, all of that office stuff, budgets, all that stuff. But then toward the end of the day or in the afternoon, then I know, okay, I can just end my day with getting my nails done or end my day with a nice massage. And if it's a secret sauce day, there's a day that's more of a secret sauce. A secret sauce day is a day that is either really light content or more of an office day, but it's also a day that I don't have my daughter that day. Because then once I'm done getting my nails done or once I'm done with my massage, then I have the night to either just come and grab my bag of chips and sit and watch my show, and I can like take a nap and be good for the rest of the day. Or I can, if I'm feeling good, it's like, oh, okay, I'm feeling good after get my nails done. Let me go meet up with my girl for a drink or blah, blah, blah. So I think, just secret sauce days are good. Those are far in between, right now. But I think for me, self-care routine and building a routine is just knowing when you're, how to plan it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah. But in terms of what I do, sorry, y'all, I was a little long-winded. But in terms of what I do get a massage every month.
Yep.
I do get my nails done.
Yes.
I have tried press-on nails. They did not work for me.
Did not.
If y'all got tips, please put them in the comments because my nails were split down the middle And I can't be having that look when I'm talking to people that I admire and, representing a whole magazine. I can't be going in there with split nails, baby. So, or a missing nail.
Yes.
God forbid.
Yes.
Absolutely
The missing
not.
nail is the one.
The missing nail, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So part of my routine is getting my nails done. I am working on getting my hair done more frequently, even if it's just once a month, going in for a nice wash and just letting someone else handle my hair and letting it breathe. So
Yeah.
I'm adding that to my self-care routine. But yeah, a lot of my self-care, honestly, is just taking care of my body.
Yeah, that's huge, though.
Yeah.
That's really huge.
I know
Yeah.
I talked about taking care of your mind, but
It's okay.
I do that too. I do that
But
too.
but that's huge. And
Yeah.
and when you had mentioned earlier about like planning your self-care.
Mm-hmm.
My routine has just been my routine forever. And it's been, man, since I can even remember, getting up early in the morning before anybody else wakes up.
Yeah.
And that's even when
you
we
would pray.
were empty nesters. When I was an empty nester, still was an empty nester. But it was just getting up in the morning before anybody else could wake up. And I love to get up early to pray, read, and meditate. Nothing like it with some hot water and lemon.
Oh yeah, or
for
that
a
coffee.
nice cup of coffee, and you got your just right. Like now, my situation is different, but I could just be right now in my bed with all my books everywhere.
You got books, I got snacks.
I got books everywhere. It's just so refreshing to me. Or meditating, going outside for a nice walk. Going out for a nice walk, just seeing, and this is just such a cliche, but it's not a cliche, but just seeing, like, sometimes I just, at the trees, just look at the trees and can just see God's creation, look up at the sky and the clouds. It is nothing like that for me, for self-care, because not only does it take care of my mind, it takes care of my spirit, which I rely on to get me through the day, to get me through the month or whatever. And so those, for me, is just that meditation that I rely on to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And so it's nothing like that. Nothing like that meditation in the morning.
I know.
Oh,
I need
yes.
to
I
do
love
better
it.
at
I love it.
meditation. Meditation is, I don't know what it is about it. I'm sitting
Just
there
love it.
and I'm calming my mind. And the only thing I can think of, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do this. So like by the time I quiet my mind, I'm exhausted because there's so many things I have to unload from my mind. But I will say that a good time for me to meditate, and this is my little excuse, but when I'm getting my massage, I meditate a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I may not
That's
necessarily
nice.
take a nap, but for that first 10 minutes, I already know that I'm like, okay, I got my stuff done, what I got to do tomorrow. Like I know my mind is racing, but after a few like little works on the body, I feel like I'm relaxing my body and I'm like calming it down. So then I'm like, okay, let me just meditate on something good, positive. Let me fuel my mind with some good stuff. And I will mention too, I've totally forgot about this. Another thing that I'm doing for self-care, and this is a part of the work and the grit.
Oh, yeah.
Working out, boo.
Oh, yeah.
Because you mentioned, I've been doing at-home workouts for a long time. If you follow me
Yeah.
on Instagram, I do daily workouts and I put them in my stories. Most of the time, I'm trying to get back at posting them. But sometimes, because it is self-care,
Yeah.
I focus on me and I just let it be a
Yeah.
gift for me instead of something that I share all the time.
Yeah.
But I got a gym membership recently and I
Yes.
haven't done that in a really long time.
Yeah.
Got to figure out what's going on with these fees. But it is nice to be able to go to the gym in a no
Yes.
judgment-free zone and just work out and have machines to try and run on a treadmill.
Yeah.
And I recently did a 5K run.
Yay.
That was fun.
Yay.
My mom and Mercy were there to support me, but y'all, I planned each week. I went running every day. I think we had like a few weeks between my gym membership and doing the 5K.
Yeah.
But I ran every day, or at least 3 times a day, a mile a day, and just tried to prepare for this run. Now, mind you, I didn't know that 5K was like 3 miles. I was like, oh no, it's like a mile. It's just a couple
Like
of
5,000 steps.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a few steps. Like, it's just one of those things you just do and say, yeah, I did it. But no, that joker was 3 miles. And I didn't find out till after they said start. And I'm like, okay, so how long are we doing this for? 3 miles? What? It's like an hour walking. An hour! It was cold. It was raining. I'm like, nope, we're going to get this done. We're going to run this whole way because I don't want to be outside. But to your point, it was nice to have the nature out there. It was totally different than running in the gym.
Yeah.
So I think adding to my self-care routine might be just running outside more.
Yeah. It works.
Yeah.
I mean, I think just being outside, just in fresh air.
Yeah.
Fresh air.
There's nothing like it.
Nothing like fresh air. Nothing like fresh air.
Breathe in some love and let yourself unfold.
Each episode will end with affirmations we can all focus on around this topic. We all know affirmations help set the tone and the intention for our day and our week, so feel free to add these to your daily routine. God loves me and He has my best interest in mind.
I make time to refresh, refuel, and reset.
I will take action and accomplish my goals. I'm not afraid to put in the work.
I will turn negative thoughts into positive thoughts.
God has equipped me with everything that I need.
I love myself and I am enough. Yes, I am enough.
Listen, we were both tempted to say, I am more than enough. Hallelujah. All right. Thank you for joining us for this season's final episode of Like Mother, Not Like Daughter podcast. We hope that this conversation will help you bridge the gap from one generation to the next in your family.
Yes, so we look forward to seeing you in our next season, which will be happening in just a couple of weeks. You do not want to miss this because we are talking everything from relationships, emotions, beauty, standards, and some good stuff.
Yes, there's a lot of good stuff.
Yes, you can listen to the recap and all our previous episodes on all podcast platforms. But in the meantime, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Until next time.
Have a great day.
I like the way you do it, baby.